Hey guys, Dylan from Noble Records coming at you with another video. So, 20 records, classic rock that you might have missed. Now, even if you're not a record collector, this is kind of a cool list. If you're like me, when I was young, I was always listening to classic rock radio. So, if it was Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, AC/DC, Journey, Van Halen, whatever, I heard that stuff all the time. I got to a point where I was kind of starting to look for something new. So that's when my record collecting kind of really started impacting the way that I listen to music. And I started picking up stuff that was kind of classic rock that I never really heard of before. So I've got some really cool ones here to show you, just things that I discovered early on. So if you're like a heavy duty record collector, a lot of this stuff you might have already seen. But this is stuff like if you're just like getting kind of tired of like regular classic rock stuff and you're like, what else is there out there? I'm going to show you some albums and kind of tell you about some of the artists that they sound like. So if you like Black Sabbath or you like Janis Joplin or whatever, I'm going to give you a rundown of each artist, what they sound like, and all that stuff. So before we get started, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. That helps the growth of the channel. We always just spreading music that you might not have heard of, recommending things. Also, we have a record store in Matthews, North Carolina. Follow us on Instagram at Noble Records. We like to stay in contact with people. We do a lot of crazy stuff. We buy big collections. We recommend records. I do exclusive pressings of rare records and things like that. So make sure to follow us over there and check out the link below for my website where you can buy some records. One of the first records that popped out to me, probably the first couple years that I was looking for stuff, this was before the internet. I mean, it wasn't before the internet, but it was before there were so many videos about it and resources and stuff like that. I was just going purely by album cover. I found this album, Bang. Bang is a really great band. They have a couple records that are really good. I think they have 4 records total, but this one and the second one, these two are tip top, amazing. If you like Black Sabbath, this is on Capitol. This is a lot like some early Black Sabbath. A lot of this stuff does have Black Sabbath vibes to it, and this is Bow to the King / Mother is the name of their second record. Both are really, really amazing. Both are in that Black Sabbath vein, the early 70s, hard rock, fantastic stuff. This list, what I kind of tried to do is show you records that if you are a record collector, they're not too expensive, nothing crazy. Like there's a lot of rare records that are worth thousands of dollars and stuff that's kind of unfindable. That's not this stuff. This stuff is very findable. You can find it out in the wild. You can find it at shops. I actually just sold a copy of this in my shop yesterday. Both of these I had in my shop yesterday and sold them. But we have them on a regular basis, and they're like, most of these are like $50 or less. So they're not like thousands of dollars or whatever. But those usually are $20-$30. But if you like Black Sabbath, Bang, it's fantastic stuff. You got to check them out. The next one I was going to show is a band called Bull Angus. So some of these are 2-for-1s. I got 2 records and I couldn't pick which one I wanted to show. Bull Angus definitely has that early 70s hard rock Black Sabbath vibe to it, but also feels a little bit more on the side of Black Oak, Arkansas. So kind of a mixture of Black Oak, Arkansas and Black Sabbath. Really good. A little bit more raw. A lot of this stuff wasn't as heavily polished as like Boston or something, but a little bit more raw, gritty, classic rock stuff. But Bull Angus, this one is Free for All, really good, and this is Bull Angus self-titled. Both of these records are fantastic. If you see them out there, grab them. The next one is Wool. This is a tremendous record. This is a little bit more on the psychedelic rock side, but it's not too far out. It's like if you like Janis Joplin, it's got some female vocals that sound a lot like Janis Joplin. It sounds like Sly and the Family Stone, but like a little bit harder, like harder rock than Sly and the Family Stone. Janis Joplin, kind of Grace Slick, Jefferson Airplane vibes to it as well. This is a tremendous record, some fantastic guitar solos, real fuzzy. If you like that late 60s fuzzy psychedelic rock type of thing, this is a great record just called Wool, and it is fantastic. This next one, Stepson. This is one you don't see that much. I found this a few years ago and I was like, this looks good, I wonder what it is. And it's like a mix, and this is gonna be a weird combo, but a mix between like Grand Funk Railroad, ZZ Top, and a little bit of Van Halen. It is really, really good early hard rock. This is one you don't see very much. It's on ABC Records. This is a white label promo. But this is a little bit more The originals are maybe 40, 50 bucks, but this is a really, really killer record. It's very hard. But if you like that ZZ Top, like, I don't know, I can't really explain how it sounds like all those things, but it really does. You should check it out. I think that you can only listen to this on YouTube right now because it's not been up for streaming, but this is a really, if you like those bands, you will love this album. It's killer. Next one is Jesse Davis. Jesse Ed Davis. I could do a whole video about Jesse Davis. He's amazing. He was a who's who. He played for pretty much everybody. Eric Clapton. He was good friends with Eric Clapton. He played with a bunch of different bands, right? So then when he comes out to do his own record, he had so many guest appearances on this record. You have Eric Clapton played on it. You have Leon Russell played on it. A ton of people played on it. But it's, so if you like that classic rock, it has that vibe because a lot of those guys are on this record. But also he played on a bunch of the records that you probably already loved. So it sounds a lot like a little bit Cajun blues rock. It sounds almost a little bit like Dr. John, but it's like really, really good. There's some great guitar work all through it because he's a great guitar player and he had some guest appearances on there as well. He's got a few records that are absolutely amazing, but his story's incredible. I believe his dad did the artwork for this, which is really cool. But that's Jesse Ed Davis. This one's just called Jesse Davis, I guess. It's just self-titled, but his name is Jesse, and it's usually in quotations Ed Davis. And amazing stuff. This is a fantastic record. And it's more like if you're not really into the harder stuff, that's not quite as hard, but it's that really good guitar work. The next one is Sir Lord Baltimore. This is another one, super heavy, early 70s. Again, there's a whole genre of stuff that's like early 70s Black Sabbath-esque type of stuff. This is in that vein. This record is super strong. They have another one as well. But this record is, I'm telling you, if you don't listen to anything I ever say, go listen to this record. Even if you don't buy it, look it up online. I believe it's on all streaming platforms. It's on Mercury. We have a couple copies of this in the shop right now, actually. So, like, at our store, if you're at local and you want to come in and grab them, we try to keep stuff like this in stock for you guys. But this, I mean, look at the cover. It is so, so good. But if you like that Black Sabbath, that hard Deep Purple stuff, this is it. Also kind of in the same vein as Three Man Army. Three Man Army, very, very good stuff. Really heavy, seminal hard rock. It's on the Reprise label. They have a few albums that are all really, really good, but this is probably the one that's most findable that you can get, and it is that classic rock. It does sound like all those, Black Oak, Arkansas, Deep Purple, the harder Grand Funk Railroad stuff. Again, like also, Grand Funk Railroad, they don't have it on the radio that much. Grand Funk Railroad has some really killer hard albums. I mean, that's not what we're talking about, but I'm sure you guys all know Grand Funk Railroad, but the early stuff, just the Grand Funk stuff, like that red cover self-titled Grand Funk, that is a very underrated record in my opinion. And I have a ton of those at the shop. You can get them for cheap. The Grand Funk Live, oh my gosh, amazing stuff. Another one is Paul Pena, or Pena. It feels like you should say Pena, but it doesn't have the little. Anyways, this record, I've talked about this in a few videos. This is a mind-blowing record. It's on Capitol, so that red Capitol label. If you like Bob Seger, Van Morrison, stuff like that, it is kind of in that same vein of classic rock. But it is a crime that this record is not on everybody's want list and everybody's like, this record will blow your mind if you go listen to this album. The first time I heard it, I was like, how have I never heard this before? This is incredible. And I mean, I only heard it a few years ago, and I was instantly looking for a copy. These are pretty hard to find, but they're not like out of this world expensive. This is probably the most expensive record on the list, honestly. These can get up there a little bit, but it's worth mentioning. It's on a major label. None of the stuff I chose was kind of on a private press or anything like that. It's all stuff that's out there. But this record badly needs a reissue, but it is on streaming, and this is one that you should definitely check out. It's incredible. Great instrumentation all the way through, great vocals. There's some Bob Seger stuff, the early Bob Segers. Noah is a killer Bob Seger record. You don't really ever see that much, but even like Beautiful Loser, that's a fantastic record. This has that same type of sound, really good stuff. This is one that a lot of people might already know, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. This is Budgie. Budgie is a killer hard rock group. It is very, very heavy. And this more leans a little bit towards Led Zeppelin, a little bit like a Led Zeppelin Black Sabbath mixture. Definitely heavy, definitely raw, not as polished as those two bands, but this is like a really predecessor to metal. The Budgie kind of went on for a while, and it starts getting like pretty heavy, and it starts getting more into the metal vein. And so they kind of kept going forever and got a little bit more into the 80s metal side. But this is the early Budgie records, especially this one. This one is amazing. Sounds a lot like Zeppelin to me, a lot like Robert Plant vocals. It's like if Robert Plant sang for Black Sabbath, I guess, but there's some Jimmy Page type of licks and things in there as well. Anyways, that's a drawing. My son draws my album covers when I'm not looking, and he puts the artwork inside. It's always fun. But Budgie, one to check out for sure. That's the one that a lot of you guys might know. This one as well. It's called Armageddon. It is out of this world. Keith Relf from Renaissance, the Yardbirds. Martin Pugh's on guitar. He played in a band called Steamhammer, which is really killer stuff as well. I would recommend Steamhammer. But this is really heavy. Look at that. I've got a copy of this at the shop right now for $5. It's been sitting there. It's not the best copy, but it is there. It's for $5. These usually go for like 20. And this is the best bang for your buck hard rock you can get for 20 bucks. This is a fantastic record. But definitely worth checking out if you like that stuff. You know, he's got like Keith Relf from the Yardbirds and stuff, so it's not quite as hard, you know, as the Black Sabbath, but it is definitely in that same vein. It's getting there. Very heavy, awesome, but it still has that classic rock feel to it. I wanted to also share one thing with you. This is just your commercial break. On our website, part of what we do is we find records that are almost impossible to get, really hard to find, and we try to help reissue them. We do exclusives, things like that. So I'll show you some of the ones that we have right now. This is the main one that we have right now, Stonewall. The original pressings of this go for, I think the last one went for $16,000, the originals. So that's the Noble Records exclusive, and we did it on this red and black vinyl. You can only get that from us. We still have some on our website now. A lot of these things sell out, but I'm gonna pin the website to the top of the comments and put it in the description of this video so you can check them out. Another one is this Magic Ship. This is like a psychedelic. It sounds like if Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young was a little bit heavier. But that's also in our store right now. Also, this Brotherhood of Peace. This is really good Southern rock from North Carolina, right from our neck of the woods. Sounds like Leonard Skinner, but it has like it's a little bit more raw. It's even got like some crazy stuff in there. Really good guitar solos, but Brotherhood of Peace Cut Loose. That's on our website now as well. Exclusive to this white and gold vinyl that you can only get from us. This Gary Del Vecchio is amazing. This is the first time ever available on vinyl. It's on this red vinyl, and it sounds like a mixture of Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin. It's incredible. And this Juarez South American hard rock. All these records are impossibly rare. This was the first one that was ever, it was not released, but the rest of these are thousands of dollars each if you were to find an original. So that's kind of what we do. I want to make things, you know, that are really good, more affordable for people that they don't want to spend $1,000 for a record. That's just a little plug to kind of push what we're doing, but thank y'all for your support on that. Next one is Fear Itself. This record's so good. I put it on the list 3 times. I went to go pull the record and I realized I had this on my top 20 3 times. So I had to put a couple more. But this is incredible. It's like Janis Joplin, but more bluesy, a little bit more heavy. But it's definitely, Ellen McElwain is the lead singer there. She also plays a mean guitar. Her records are out there and they're pretty good too. But this is out of this world. When I first started thinking about making this list, this was the first one to pop up because this one for me, it was just so mind-blowing to hear because I always grew up loving Janis Joplin. This is in that same, her vocals are out of this world. The guitars on this record are out of this world. It is fantastic. And the artwork, look at that. So good. Fear Itself, really, really good. Next one is Elf. This is a killer copy of this. I looked for a clean copy of this for a long time. They're a little bit hard to find, but it's on Epic. They reissued them kind of a little bit throughout the 70s. Fantastic record. And the lead singer of Elf is Ronnie James Dio. So it's really heavy, early hard rock before he came over to Black Sabbath. So it definitely has that. It's a little bit more of like a Deep Purple vibe, but it definitely has that early 70s hard rock. If you like that Ronnie James Dio era Black Sabbath stuff, you'll love this record. It is fantastic. It's like a predecessor to that. it makes you realize how good of a choice it was for them to go and pick him as Ozzy's replacement. This is a fantastic record, very good, really heavy, worth checking out for sure. Another one, Dust. Everybody talks about how Dust is kind of one of the predecessors to metal, like to make that 80s metal, new wave of metal stuff happen. Dust is really heavy. Part of it has to do with that album cover. But yeah, this is a fantastic record. A lot of people look for. It's on the Kama Sutra label. It's findable. It's out there. We get them in the shop every once in a while. They have another record called Heart Attack that is also amazing. But this is really heavy. Again, like more, a little bit more. A lot of this has that Black Sabbath feel to it. I feel like a lot of the bands that were taken off at that time were trying to follow more in Black Sabbath's footsteps than any other band, it seems like. But that real heavy type of stuff, so good. This is one that'll be a treat to you, I think. Geordie. This is incredible band with Brian Johnson from AC/DC was the lead singer. This was before he came over to AC/DC. This is on, in the US, it's on MGM right there. But man, it's really cool to hear him in this band. So you know how AC/DC is kind of like a choppy, heavy, fun, you know, this is a little bit more on that classic rock side, a little bit more like those classic rock bands of that era. It sounds like almost if AC/DC mixed with like Bachman Turner Overdrive or whatever. That's kind of what this sounds like. It is really, really good. And like I said, if you like AC/DC, I think you'll get a kick out of it, but also it's killer. It's really, really good. When I first found this record, I was like, holy crap, that sounds like AC/DC. What is this? And I looked at the back and I was like, so anyways, very cool. This is a cool record. It'll be a treat to you if you like AC/DC. This is Charlie. This is a killer record. It's Canadian, and it has those Jimi Hendrix guitar tones in there. You know, it sounds like the Univibe mixed with a tube screamer, mixed with a wah-wah. You know, that, if you play guitar, you know what I'm talking about. It's got those Hendrix licks and the Hendrix tone, but it also has really good like classic rock sound and vocals to it. Very good record out of Canada. You don't see these very often, but they're out there. They're not too expensive, but it's Charlie, Charlee. Great stuff. Another one is this Kossoff, Backstreet Crawler. Now, Paul Kossoff is one of the unsung heroes of the guitar world. He was one of the most incredible players. He died very young, but out of this world player. He played probably the most notably for Free. You know, that All Right Now guitar, that's him, you know. Amazing stuff. See videos of him, like, he kind of looks like an old man, but he's not. He's in his 20s, you know. But he was very prolific. He played with a lot of blues greats. He played with a band called Black Cat Bones, which is out of this world. That one's a little bit more rare, but it's that same vein. But he did this record, which these are cheap. These are like $15 in the US. And he went on to form a band called Backstreet Crawler that he played in, and it was really good. But this is just like him showing off his licks. This was after Free, when he decided to put in some guitar work to kind of show off what he had. And this is a great record. If you like guitar records, that's one I would definitely check out. The next one is Neil Merryweather, which I couldn't pick one, so I just picked two to show you. They're both kind of in the same vein. You can see the artwork is similar. Space Rangers and Kryptonite. This is just amazing, like space rock. So if you like Pink Floyd type stuff, you might like this, but it's kind of like a mixture of Pink Floyd and Deep Purple. It's like got some heavy riffs and stuff like that, some out of this world synthesizers, some incredible guitar work. These are amazing. Neil Merryweather, bass player, played for a lot of people. He played for Mama Lion. He had his own solo albums. A lot of them are really incredible. These two stand out to me, and they are really good if you like that type of stuff. Another one is Cactus. Cactus is, I talk about this record probably too much, but this was the absolute first record I found that I was like, I did not know music like this existed, you know? I thought I knew everything about classic rock. I was like 18 years old, thought I knew everything. And I found this Cactus record. It looks pretty cool. The guys on the back look pretty cool. I brought it home and listened to it, and I was like, this is a classic rock album I've never heard. What the heck? I thought I knew everything. And then from then, it's just a deep hole. And the more you learn, the more you realize you'll have no idea. I now I realize, like, I still don't know nearly enough. You know, there's still so much stuff out there. But Cactus is kind of the one that opened the doors. It made me so hungry to find more. But this is like blues rock, really heavy blues rock, killer stuff. I mean, start to finish, this is an amazing record. This one, if you haven't heard this, I strongly recommend it. Next one is Stark Naked. This is one that is killer. This one's a little bit harder to find. This is on RCA, but this is another one that's really heavy, but it has a mixture of all those bands, those early 70s bands. There's some like kind of droning, kind of mystical type of songs in there. And then there's some really heavy, hard-hitting, just hard rock guitars, out of this world, great stuff. But Stark Naked is one to look out for sure. And then I got one more, and then I got some honorable mentions. So Bucks, this is one that's really, really good. It's kind of a mixture between, it sounds like Leonard Skinner and Bad Company type stuff, but it's actually the predecessor to the band Angel, you know, like the 80s hair metal Angel. Very, very cool record. I found this recently and I was like, oh, very cool. Punky Meadows. I used to work at Guitar Center when I was in high school, and Punky Meadows would come there all the time. We're like, oh gosh, it's Punky Meadows. And he'd be like just really cool, like shredding on guitar, and he would wear like the coolest rock star clothes just all the time. And we thought it was really cool, and it was. But Bucks is, he played in it, very gritty. For like, it's not like the Angel stuff, it's more of that hard rock type stuff, but it's like I said, it's not quite as hard. It's more like, it sounds a lot like Bad Company to me, but very good stuff. Bucks, B-U-X. And this is not too terribly expensive or hard to find record. So those are 20 for you. Here's a few more that I was going to put in the list, but I didn't for one reason or the other. This is Terry Reid. Seed of Memory. This is a fantastic Terry Reid record. I feel like a lot of people have heard of Terry Reid, that's why I didn't put it in there. But Terry Reid was Jimmy Page's first choice for the lead singer of Led Zeppelin. But Terry Reid said no, so he picked Robert Plant. But Terry's also an amazing guitar player. But this is a really, really, really good record. It's not as hard and heavy. It's more like just a good, solid rock record. But it's fantastic. Ultimate Spinach, I listened to this and it was more psychedelic than I think I wanted the list to be. But I love this record. This is one of my favorite psych records of all time. If you like it a little bit more weird, a little bit more out there, this is amazing. Ultimate Spinach, highly recommend. This is Velvet Turner, the Velvet Turner group, like Velvet, V-E-L-V-E-R-T. This is really good, but it just sounds just like Jimi Hendrix. It's a Jimi Hendrix ripoff, really. I mean, that's the only reason I didn't put it on the list. It's really, really good, and it's cool, and it's fun to listen to. But I mean, you really could say this is Jimi Hendrix's lost record, and people will believe it, because that's what it sounds like. But very good stuff. And then this is one I felt like a lot of people probably already knew, Freedom Through the Years. This is an amazing record. Another one, just sounds a lot like that early 70s hard rock stuff. The Vertigo pressing, this is UK and Germany had the Vertigo. In the US it was Cotillion. But anyways, that's a great record. And then Taste. I would be remiss not to mention Taste. Taste with the lead guitar player and singer Rory Gallagher. I discovered Rory Gallagher when I was probably 16. It just blew my mind. I was like in the midst of learning to play guitar. And I was like, who is this guy? And I saw him on TV, and they didn't say who he was. They just showed him playing guitar and then moved on to something else. And I was like, who the heck was that? And I was like, there's this dude that I'm not recognizing. He's like shredding. But this is blues rock. This is fantastic stuff. If you like that Clapton type stuff, this is Clapton, but a little more raw. Like Clapton meets Stevie Ray Vaughan. It's like a just amazing guitar stuff. So thank you guys. Thanks for watching. Shoot me, put in the comments something that I didn't mention, an album that you would recommend to somebody looking for this type of thing. But again, thank y'all so much for watching the videos, buying our exclusives, supporting the shop and everything that we do. We'll see you guys next time.